The Nintendo Switch has one of the greatest gaming lineups in gaming history, from first-party classics to third-party bangers, and my collection is ever growing. 200 so far, but I need more. This is Switch Quest. I'm going to be scouring the shelves, I'm going to be finding the deals, and I'm going to be ensuring these games end up in my perfect Nintendo Switch collection. Now without further ado, I've finished my cup of tea. Let's get Switch hunting, shall we? Gateshead Metro Center CEX, and honestly it was quite busy by the time I got here. Not really much in the 3DS section, so I kind of skimmed through it. I did have a quick look at this Pokemon Battle Revolution, which kind of caught my eye. Released in December 2007 in the UK, Pokemon Battle Revolution is the final in the Pokemon Stadium type games. Unlike Colosseum and XD, however, it is missing an RPG mode, which, in my opinion, made it a lot less desirable. Gone is the novelty of having Pokemon on the screen these days, so without any extra hook, this one just didn't appeal to me whatsoever. Not today, Pokemon, not today. Moving into this Nintendo Switch section, and we have a few interesting choices here. Now, just about every single game that I've got on my 100 games to pick up was in here. We've got a wide plethora of Lego games, we've got just about every single Mario game we could ever want. We did have a mysterious game underneath here, and I also clocked this one, The Witcher. Now, there are two variations of The Witcher on the Nintendo Switch, one which has all the DLC and one without. We also had this mysterious game. The mystery game in question is Vectronom, a psychedelic hypnotic puzzle game. Never thought I'd say that about a game, to be honest, but it looks interesting and, quite honestly, headachy. I suck at rhythm games, and I feel I'll just be unwell just playing this one. It's giving me a headache just watching the trailer. An interesting find, but sadly not one for me. But yeah, there's a few little games here that I kind of had my eye on, but nothing really that was taking my eye. I do want to try and pick up that Tomb Raider one eventually, and that Saints Row, which is Saints Row 4, did also clock my eye. Now, this is one that I was annoyed with. Warriors Orochi, I really wanted this one, and this is one of the ones I actually came for, and of course we had that sticker cover reprinted, so I had to leave it. I'm not paying full price for a cover reprint, just not happening, no way. Plenty of Pokemon, which is always a good sign, always a sign of many games in here in the Nintendo Switch. Skyrim as well, that's another one that I don't really see too often on the Nintendo Switch, and it's one that I do want to pick up. I just could never justify it full price. Doom as well, this is a Doom collection. Now, I looked at this for quite a while because I couldn't fathom whether or not this was all on cart or if it was all DLC, and maybe like I think Doom, the most recent one, was on cart, so I left it. I need to have a bit more of a look up and see what actually is on here. Looking into this one a little bit further, and pre-order will only get you the 26-day game, so maybe want to get you if you want the entire collection. However, interestingly enough, this one is called Doomslayers on the box, but doesn't seem to actually have a listing on the CEX website. A mystery indeed. Or more likely they're just listing it as Doom 2016. Kirby games, I do need to pick up more Kirby games. Kirby is that franchise which I love, but I just never really play much of. And they had a wide selection of Lego games. A lot of these Lego games are on my list to pick up, but I don't know, I just can't justify picking them up straight away. Now I have clocked something that is really essential for my collection, and that is Trails Through Daybreak. And you know what, I think this is the one that is going to have to be in my collection. Yorkshire tea for those wondering. Perfect. So, CEX Gateshead Metro Center was an interesting one. I kind of went out of my way to go to that one, and I had my eye on a few titles. Some titles such as Skyrim and The Witcher, I don't know, I kind of felt that I've seen them enough that I could kind of leave them. However, the one I kind of went up for was one that I had a bit of a tip off that they had. Warriors Orochi 4. I was more than disappointed to find that that was a reprinted cover, and it kind of made sense because this is one that seems to be going up and up online, and I just felt it was a little bit naive of me to kind of realise, oh yeah, this has been sitting in the shelves for quite some time. Usually there's a reason, and the reason being reprinted cover. Now I know CEX have a bit of a awkward situation with the fact that these games have to be on shelves, and of course some people are being people and end up stealing the cases. And I do tend to find a lot of these more expensive games do end up being the reprinted cover. So I'm kind of like, yeah, people are nicking the boxes because the boxes are worth something. I know myself in GameCube Quest, my struggle to find just empty cases of GameCube games to replace what I chucked out. But it was a little bit disappointing. That was one that I wanted in my collection, but it is what it is. Let's talk Switch Quest for a second here. I am scouring the shelves for Nintendo Switch games. I have a collection of over 200 and I want to make that even better. There are so many fantastic titles out there that I just never played, and there's fantastic titles that a lot of you guys are recommending. Now, I used Reddit's top 100 Nintendo Switch games as a basis to fill in the gaps of my collection, along with a few titles that I kind of want to play. I am a huge fan of tycoon management games, so titles such as Railway Empire, City Skylines, even though it doesn't work well on the Switch, 2 Point Hospital, and a few others are definitely on my list because I know for a fact that I'll play them. But I'm doing a little bit of a twist here because I'm not stupid. CEX is great for a lot of games, however, their Switch titles are up and down, and let's face it, if I see a game for £35 in CEX pre-owned, but it's also £35 to £40 on Amazon, I'm just going to buy it brand new, and that's the twist. 100 games is a lot of games to try and buy, so what I'm going to propose is I can only buy a game online if I see it in stores. So if I see, for example, let's say Lego City Undercover for £20 pre-owned in CEX, but it's £20 or cheaper online, I'm now allowed to buy it. That means that I can easily unlock a lot of titles. There are a few heavy hitters in there, and this is a list that will constantly change and evolve with the times. As new games come out, as we maybe transition into collecting Switch 2 games, I will be adding titles to it. There are a few exceptions, of course. Limited run, online games, Japanese imports. I'm never going to find them. I'm never going to find them on shelves, so I'm more than happy just to pick them up. But of course, I will document what I pick up and share them with you guys. So without further ado, let's reveal what I picked up today, and it was a bit of slim pickings. I picked up Trails Through Daybreak. Slim pickings, but it is a bit of a heavy hitter. This was one of the more expensive games on my list, and the reason being is that, well, this is a title that just seems to be going up and up in value. And Trails Through Daybreak is number 11 in the series. We have the Sky Trilogy, we have the Crossbell Duology, we have the Cold Steel Quadrology, and we have Trails Through Reverie. All of those games lead us to Trails Through Daybreak. Now, this is a bit of a reinvention for the series. The combat switches from the classic turn-based one to a bit more action-based, and if I'm honest, I prefer the classic style of it. I don't know what it was, I just never felt that there was any reason to go into the action-based one, especially when the bosses ended up being more powerful for the turn-based one. It just made things a little bit faster when you're clearing up the mobs. You play as Van, and he has his own detective agency, so Trails fans will kind of get what I'm going to be talking about here. A lot of Trails games, for example Trails Through the Sky, that was about a pair of bracers going around and helping places in different cities, helping resolve issues around the country with the intention, and this is the important part of Trails, the intention is these are the people you're going to have to protect someday. Crossbell did the same, except this time you are basically police and having to police things. Cold Steel, you were students on school trips, having to help out, eventually leading into the Erebonian War and helping people out. And Reverie was kind of like tying up all the loose ends. The Trails Through series is one that I liken to One Piece. One Piece is an absolutely massive world with plenty of interesting characters, and you will see snippets of their lives before they come back and are more relevant in a later series. That's what Trails is. It's an ongoing saga, and it's one of those ones where just about every single character has been developed. That's right, just about every single character has their own world, their own stories. For example, the NPC shopkeeper in the Sky duology, where he's kind of looking for love, and over the course of the story he will get fall in love. We follow this family where the dad just keeps ending up going into like getting into like scrapes and whatever, and it's interesting. It's one of those ones where it's harder to explain, but it's one of those ones where the more you get into it, the more you fall in love with it. Now, this is a good entry point into the series, I think. It's the start of another saga, but it is the 11th one, so it's one of those ones where you can jump into here very easily, but you're going to find so much more value if you are through the long haul. And I played this on the PlayStation 5 at the start of the year, but of course, with me wanting a Switch collection, this is one that I wanted to own both on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch, and I'm glad to do it. Now, sadly, with this being CEX, it was missing the digital art book, it was missing the digital soundtrack, and it was missing a few other little pieces in here, which is a little bit of a shame, but at the end of the day, buying pre-owned, most of the time you're not going to get them anyways. And a new copy of this goes for significantly more. Now, I have a complete new for PlayStation, so if I'm honest, I wasn't too fussed about the art book, I wasn't too fussed about the digital CD, so yeah, it's an interesting one. The Trails series is easily one of my favourite ongoing series, so I'm so happy to get Trails Through Daybreak into my collection. My Switch collection, that is. And there's a lot more titles out there, but I want to know from you guys, what should I be looking for? What should I be looking for picking up? Are there any titles that are kind of overlooked that are worth trying to find? My list is ever growing, and I want you guys to help me with it, because this is Switch Quest. And I hope you're along for the ride.